And so in this group, there were radicals, there were ultra conservatives, there were fishermen, there were tax collectors. In short, this was a motley crew. It was a motley crew. We had Simon Peter, who, by the way, in all the lists of the apostles, is always mentioned first. He was like the leader of the group. Maybe because of personality, maybe because Jesus saw him that way, but he certainly was part of the right hand of Jesus, or the inner circle. Simon, he had foot and mouth disease. He was always putting his foot in his mouth. Big guy, brawny guy, a fisherman, a man's man kind of a guy. And, he's the one who had real lapses in faith at time. He denied knowing the Lord 3 times, right? But then he had spectacular moments of faith. You are the Christ, the Son of the living God. All right, Peter. Flesh and blood hasn't revealed that. My Father in heaven has revealed that. So he had these, he was like bipolar, with his faith just up and down all over the place. And then Andrew, who was Peter's brother, is always in Peter's shadow. But Andrew is always bringing people to Jesus. That was what we see him doing. He's always bringing people to Jesus. Andrew's name, by the way, means manly. So here's Peter, the manly guy, but Andrew's name means manly, but he's always in the shadows of Peter. And then we have James and John. James becomes the first martyr in the Bible, in the book of Acts, John's brother. And then John, of course, John wrote 5 books in the Bible, right? He wrote the Gospel of John. He wrote 1st, 2nd, and 3rd John, the epistles. And then, of course, he wrote the book of Revelation. Exactly. But these were nicknamed by Jesus the sons of thunder. Now, I always think of John as kind of a quiet, humble kind of a guy. He's the one who says that he was the disciple whom Jesus loved, right? By the way, he refers to himself that way. That's in John's gospel. I'm the disciple whom Jesus loved. But what a great thing. Shouldn't we all refer to ourselves that way? As the disciple whom Jesus loved? Well, that was John. But John and James, they were the sons of thunder. These were the guys who went to Jesus and wanted to be on his right and left hand when in the kingdom. And then we have Philip and Bartholomew, who were the skeptics. Philip said to Jesus, "Show us the Father, and that will be enough for us." Philip, have you not known me? Don't you realize that if you've seen me, you've seen the Father? And Bartholomew is also known as Nathaniel. And Nathaniel was the one who said, "Can anything good come from Nazareth?" And then you have Thomas, the doubter, right? Doubting Thomas. Matthew, the tax collector, who would have been considered a thief and a traitor by the rest of them. And then James, son of Alphaeus, and Thaddeus, who we don't know a whole lot about. And then Simon the Zealot, who would have been a rebel against the Roman government, against the establishment and all. And he would have hated Matthew, the tax collector, because the tax collectors were in cahoots with the Romans, remember? And so he would have had a natural hate for Matthew. And then Judas, the betrayer. Wow, what a motley crew. These were not educated people. These did not have letters in front or in back of their names. They didn't go to seminary. They didn't do any of those things. In fact, knowing what we know about this group, you would think that they would have been too ordinary to be part of Jesus' ministry. But folks, that's a principle that you really need to get if you haven't already. God uses ordinary people. God uses ordinary people. Look at 1 Corinthians 1, verse 26. Brothers, think of what you were when you were called. Not many of you were wise by human standards. Not many were influential. Not many were of noble birth. But God chose the foolish things of the world to shame the wise. Paul is calling them foolish here. You need to understand. God chose the weak things of the world to shame the strong. God chose the lowly things of this world and the despised things and the things that are not to nullify the things that are, so that no one may boast before him. Wow. I'm living proof of that. I am a very ordinary person, folks. I'm about as ordinary as they come. And if God can use me, he can use anyone. And all God is looking for is ordinary people who are willing to be used by him, who surrender and just say, Lord, send me. I'm yours. And so if you consider yourself ordinary, guess what? You qualify.